This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
All right, Tom Murphy now joins us, who at one point was covering football in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tom, I know, again, didn't spend a lot of time, if any, around Nick Saban when he was there because you landed in Arkansas prior to that. But it's the biggest story in college football, the biggest story in sports. Your thoughts on his retirement announcement yesterday?
Well, it's a huge deal, and I don't think anyone is ever going to be he's the GOAT. I don't think anyone is going to win as many national championships in the time span that he did. I covered his hiring and his first spring, and actually the first couple of days of camp in 2007 before I came here. Someone very close to him I talked to at the time said, "This is what he's going to do. He's going to get all the noise and all the people who feel like they have a stake in how this program is run, and he's going to say, I am making all the decisions. This is my program, and we're going to do it my way, and we're going to win." And there were a lot of voices around Arkansas football, Alabama football. You know, when the Mike Shula era, he was young, and before that, Mike Price. There was just a lot of voices and people who had a stake in it and made decisions. And when he came in, he took over, and the person said, and he will win championships. And that's what he did. And we've never seen anything like this.
So on the subject of what he could potentially do moving forward, do you expect him to retire and just kind of do leisurely things that retired guys do? Or do you expect him still to be involved in the sport somehow?
That's a great question. I'm sure Miss Terry played a huge role. I'm sure they've been talking about it during the course of this season. And I would not doubt that NIL and the changing nature of the game played a role in his decision. I think he's been really good on TV. He may be able to talk Miss Terry into having appearances. I don't know if he'd do a weekly thing. Like, you know, that's a tough gig that like say Lee Corso does, even though he's not on all the time. But I don't know if he didn't do anything to that extent, but certainly having a hand in commentary like that, I think he likes it, and I think he's good at it.
So, Tom, who's the next guy? Everybody's got an opinion on who will succeed Nick Saban as head coach. Who's on your list?
Well, if I was still covering the team, I could check around some and find out maybe who they're not going to look at. But I think his quote unquote disciples, some of them have their own empires now, like Kirby and Sarkisian. That why would you do this? You're doing something good where you are. You can make your name here. But the thing about Alabama is they would feel like they could go after anybody in college, anybody in pro or college football right now. They could go after. But I just think there's guys like Kirby and Steve Sarkisian who might not do it. Lanning, a popular name, but man, does he have enough of a track record right now? I'm not certain about that. I hope Kalen DeBoer does not leave. I like his personality. I think he's more low key. I don't think the big spotlight would be a good thing for him personally. And even though I don't know him, that's just how I feel about Kalen DeBoer, and I hope he stays at Washington. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of guys very, very interested in it. It's hard to follow a legend. No one's going to win 6 like he did in that time frame. And so how much rope will you have?
Is Alabama the best coaching job in college football? Is it today?
I don't know if it's the best coaching job. I mean, it's centralized in terms of all your recruiting. You've got the tradition and all that. But the pressure that comes with it is massive, and it's not cut out for everybody. I heard you guys talking a minute ago. You know, a few years ago, I think Dabo would have been a natural successor, but I think his lack of embrace of NIL and the changes has hurt him in that regard, and I actually think it probably would rule him out here. So I don't know if I would label it the best, but it's certainly among the best.
Let's keep talking football with Tom Murphy here on the McCarty Daniel Hotline, but bring it back here to Fayetteville. Tom, Bryce Stevens re-entering the Arkansas football program, it sounds like, exiting the transfer portal. Again, what did you make of that decision that Bryce made? Didn't get a lot of playing time this past season.
Right, and I just don't know what all factored into that, whether maybe he couldn't find a better NIL deal, or people weren't coming after him the way he thought. I really don't know, or if he saw that there might still be an opening to play receiver here. We'll have to see how that plays out. But, he was better than a serviceable return guy. He had the big one against Missouri State that Bobby Petrino clearly remembers. And maybe Petrino says, hey, we can find a role for you. But Isaiah Satania is, I think more dynamic as a return guy, and he'll probably continue to have that role. And maybe they can find a way to get Bryce Stevens some playing time. I mean, he showed promise. That catch he made for a touchdown against Mississippi State was a fantastic catch.
No, it was. And then other news on the Arkansas side of things, this is a former Razorback. A.J. Green initially committed to Tulsa, now at Oklahoma State. Tom, Arkansas is going to have to deal with him week 2 in Stillwater.
Yeah, they will. And that's after Ollie Gordon. And Ollie Gordon he's a phenomenal talent at running back. And, they're going to have to scheme up for sure how to slow that team down. I mean, they have a lot of weapons coming back, but that's a ways off. But A.J. Green's going to get some carries in that game for sure.
Tom, before we go, let's talk about last night's basketball game at Georgia. Arkansas now in an 0-2 hole in the SEC. They fall by 10 to the Georgia Bulldogs, who are surprisingly 2-0 right now in the SEC race.
Right. It's a hole, and Arkansas has been in a hole each of the years Eric Musselman has coached here early in conference play. They've battled their way out of them. I think I said Tuesday that this might be the hardest uphill climb looking, but I would say that they fought a lot harder last night. It's the playing time. Here's the inconsistency of performance would be driving me crazy. You got Keon Minifield, who has a couple of huge games, and then I'm not sure if he played in the second half last night. They finally got going when Mark, where they ran stuff for Mark, and I think that's got to be kind of your bell cow going forward, and they've got to get more from Trevin Brazile. And you could tell, hearing Eric Musselman last night post-game, the fact they shot 3 for 21 from three-point range, and their guys had open jumpers and were missing them. And Georgia's guys on the other end were hitting them. It was a difference in the game. I mean, rebounding was fairly close, turnover battle fairly close and all, but just strictly shooting, Arkansas trailed. And the free throw missing was, Jalen Graham, I get it, but Trevin Brazile's got to go up and make free throws. And it was a little bit infuriating probably from that standpoint.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.